Thank you for watching this video. We want you to pay special attention to the 4 white lines and how we are properly leaning, looking, stepping with our foot, knee, shoulder, hip, and the direction that we are looking in when we make each of these moves. Please pause as often as possible and rewind as often as you need in order to learn these moves. Enjoy. The first move that we'll be showing you is the Iverson hesitation crossover. Please notice the positioning of my knee, my foot, and my head before the ball is crossed over to the other side. Now we'll do the same move going in the other direction. Again, notice the positioning of my foot, my knee, my shoulder, and where I'm looking as the ball goes to the other side. The next move we'll demonstrate is the KJ, known for Kevin Johnson when he played for the Phoenix Suns. And this move has a number of subtleties to it. The first is the ball going through the legs. You have to walk directly towards the defender. Notice my feet are going straight. They are not going from one side to the other, so that's what we'll demonstrate first. So did you see how I slowly put the ball through my legs as if I wasn't really trying to break down the defender? Now what you'll notice is whichever direction that the ball goes to, which in this case will be going from right to left, notice that my opposite foot will step outside of the white line along with my shoulder before it crosses back over to catch up with the basketball. One of the other subtleties of this move that we call the KJ is that the ball has to go half the speed as your foot. So there's 2 steps in this move and 2 different leans before the second dribble occurs. So if you can pause the video when you see my feet, my knee, my shoulder, and my head on that white line to help you better break down the move, that would be a good suggestion at this point. Now notice the move going in the other direction. Now I'll do it more at game speed so that you can see it if there was a defender there. Now we're going to show you the counter to the original KJ. And remember what we said was that there's 2 steps to this move. The first one opposite of where the ball originally goes, and then the second step is towards the direction of the ball. Well, in the counter move, which is going to be a crossover after the initial move, you will only step once, but you will lean twice. So notice my shoulders will lean twice, and on the second lean, the ball will be crossed over in the opposite direction of the second lean. So again, pause it as often as you would like to pick up on the nuances to this move. So did you notice that I leaned outside both sets of outside lines, but the move started between the 2 middle lines? You don't want to give away to the opponent when you are making this move that you are going in one direction or the other. The ball has to go straight on the setup part of this move. Then there's 2 leans once again where your shoulder and foot end up on the exterior lines, but only 1 step on the counter move, which is a crossover. The other thing I want to point out is that in this move you can't be too far away from the defender. You must be between 4 and 5 feet of the defender, otherwise the move will not properly work because the defender will be too far away for him to take the bait on the initial step. So you noticed on that last move, again, there was 2 leans but only 1 step. And the ball is crossed over while you're still leaning in the opposite direction of the crossover. The next thing we're going to show you is the in and out behind. And again, watch the positioning of my feet and shoulders and knee and where I'm looking to try and set up the defender as the ball goes in the opposite direction. So notice on the in and out that my shoulder went literally in the same direction as the ball on the in and out part. You want to make sure that your hand stays on top of the ball, otherwise you'll be called for a carry. And again, notice how I stepped on the outside of the line, and as I stepped, and I emphasize the step because if you plant your foot hard and loudly, it is intimidating to the defender, and the referee is impacted, as well as the defender, because they think you're going in that direction. But you then simultaneously slap the ball behind your back. It's not a wraparound, it's a slap, because then it gives you the option to either pull the ball back or go to the basket. I will now demonstrate the same move going in the other direction. Again, take note of the lines and where my leans are, my steps, and how I'm looking in one direction as the ball simultaneously goes in the other direction. The next move we're going to show you is the Dirk spin pullback. This is a good move to utilize if a defender is sagging on you and you go directly at them to try and bait them back out to guard you, to extend the defense on the perimeter. So please notice first, when I go to the right line, my right, your left, that I'm going to step with my right foot on that line, and then I'm going to pull the same foot back after I sell to the defender that I might be going to the hole. So you have to sell that part, it's really important. I'll then use the right foot as leverage to pull back around 180 degrees towards your right white line, and then I will pull it back. The reason you want to go 180 degrees is because it gives you the option to either pull back or continue to go to the hole. That's an important component to this move. So notice that my right foot planted first on what is your left side when you're watching this video, and then that same foot was brought back around to the other side while the left foot stayed stationary. Now the other thing to pay attention to is when I'm leaning in one direction, I'm selling that. The other thing to notice is that the ball stays in the right hand during the entire 180 degree spin, and then once you have moved your right foot to the other side, that's when you simultaneously switch the ball to the left hand to make the determination of whether you're going to continue to go to the hole or you're going to pull the ball back. So now I will show you that component again, but this time we will pull the ball back, and then once we pull the ball back, we'll show you the combination of two different moves. The previous move, which is an in and out behind, after the Dirk spin and pullback. Okay, so notice after the Dirk spin and pullback, I did an in and out cross to a behind. So let's watch that one more time. So notice on that move how I touch the extremes of the white lines. The next thing that I'm going to show you is a move to create space between yourself and the defender. And the reason this is important is because a lot of these moves are intended at the end of the shot clock to go by the defender. But the other reason that you want to know how to utilize these moves and be confident to do them during a crucial situation at the end of a game or at the end of a shot clock is because sometimes you just need to create space between yourself and the defender to be able to pull the ball back to initiate the offense. So just keep in mind, again, it's not just simply to go one-on-one and draw a second defender to be able to then make the next pass to set up a teammate for a better shot. It's sometimes just to get the defender to back off a little bit, to create some space, to give you a little bit of time to make your next decision. So now what I'm going to show you is the KJ, which was one of the first moves that we showed you today. And then after the KJ, I'm going to counter with the cross. And then I'm going to plant my feet forward loudly, which is in a heel-toe movement to give the defender the impression that I'm going to the hole, but then I'm going to slap the ball behind my back to give myself an opportunity to create space to, again, as I just mentioned, give myself time to be able to initiate the offense. The next move we're going to show you is the Isaiah Thomas 1, 2, 3 through the legs, followed by a double in and out. A lot of times you can't cross over because the defender has long arms or they're too close to you. So you have to give them the impression that you're going to cross over. So in this move, notice the positioning of my hands and how I'm leaning and looking as I'm putting the ball through my legs 3 times. That is an important nuance and subtlety to this move. Then you give the impression that you're going to cross over, but you're really going in and out, not once, but twice. And notice the shoulder that you're getting the defender to try and bite. And then once they bite on the first one, the second one, you go by them. If you replay that move, notice I did it to both sides. Notice where I was looking and where I was leaning and where I was stepping as I was doing the in and out. The next move we're going to show you is the Shammgod with the counter. So this move, you throw the ball out in front of you. We're going to start with our right hand going towards your left when watching this video. And then I'm going to throw it out as if I lost the ball with my right hand, but then I'm going to grab it with my left, pull it back to your right or my left, and then I'm going to cross it over after I lean towards my left side. So notice in either direction that I just did that move, first I gave the impression that I was losing the ball, and then slow the video down or pause it so that you can see where my body is actually leaning as the ball is going in the other direction. Also pay attention to my feet and how loud my step is, because every one of those components can throw off the defender. The next move we're going to show you is the Michael Jordan. He would sometimes just be at the top. He was famous for doing this move against the Boston Celtics when he scored 63 points in the playoff game early in his career. But this move sometimes freezes the defender. There's nothing spectacular about it. There's not much deception. You just go through your legs, alternating each leg twice on each side, 4 times total, and then you make a move after that and go. The first example we'll do after we go 4 times is a spin move to a pullback to a crossover. The next move is the Tim Hardaway. This move emphasizes the lean and the quickness of the through the legs and the crossover. So the quicker this move can be done, the more you're going to just go by the defender from the standpoint of being quicker, not as much deception in this move. A lot of the moves that we've been talking about so far is moves in the breakdown zone, which is in the top of the key area. This next move we're going to show you on a fast break, 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2, going full speed. First, make sure that you always look behind you once you cross half court to make sure a defender is not coming from behind and trying to tap the ball away. But you're going to give the impression with this move that you're going to go by the initial defender at the top of the key, but you're going to bring the ball behind your leg and then pull the ball back. First, notice that I was alternating hands when I was bringing the ball up the floor. You never want to push the ball up the floor with one hand. You want to alternate hands because you're much faster that way. Second thing is, as with a lot of the other moves, namely the Dirk spin, notice how as I got to the top of the key, I gave the impression that I was going hard to the hole, but I stopped and brought the ball back behind. So as a continuation of this move, I'm going to give a little shoulder and head fake after the pullback to try and draw the defender out after I gave them the impression that I might shoot the three, and then cross the ball up and go by them for a mid-range jump shot. So again, notice how I looked at the rim after I pulled it back, and then the 2-foot hop once I was getting ready to take the jump shot. The next move we're going to show you is named after Steve Smith. He utilized basically this one move his whole career in the NBA. Played at Michigan State and played for a number of NBA teams. So this move, notice I'm going to go with my left hand first, which would be going to your right, is that I'm going to bring my left foot behind and turn my head towards the left, my left, but I'm going to continuously dribble in the same direction, but try and freeze the defender for a brief moment to allow myself time to continue to go in that same direction. Okay, now we'll show you an advanced variation of the Dirk spin pullback. Notice after I go from my right to a spin back to my left, after the next dribble, the ball's going to go behind my leg, and then I'm going to do an in and out cross. So for this move, you're going to have to pause the video and watch it in steps. In any of the moves, you can utilize some of the things that you've probably done in terms of normal, typical crossover or behind the back moves. So in this counter to the KJ, we're going to do a double cross after the initial move. So notice in that move, it looked like I almost fell down twice, but that is because I'm giving the defender the impression that as the ball is going in one direction, I'm going in the other. The next couple of moves we'll show you are more of going to the basket if a second defender comes. The first is a counter spin move if a second defender comes into the paint outside the restricted area, and I'm going to spin. Notice my footwork. Again, you'll probably have to pause the video in order to really understand the subtleties of this move so that you do not get called for a travel. So on this next move, we're going to be utilizing the same footwork, but we're only going to be going halfway, not a full spin on the counter move. Then we're going to go back in the same direction that we started from before we started the spin, but we're going to step far away from the defender to try and draw them out, to make them think we're shooting a fadeaway jump shot. And then as they come out and guard us, we will lower that shoulder into their ribs and try and draw the foul on the lean in. Now this next move is to evade a second defender. Please notice I'll be dribbling with my right hand. So that is the direction that you step in first, to the right. Then you avoid the defender by stepping hard to the left with your second step that you're allowed, and then finishing with the layup. So notice the second move going in the other direction towards the paint. We stepped hard to the left with the left foot because that was the hand that we were dribbling with. Then hard to the right on the second step to avoid the defender. And then we finished by making the layup, kissing it off the glass. The next late counter to avoid a defender is coined after Charles Barkley. And notice the ball going around the defender's head and simultaneously pushing off one foot and hopping with two. So the first time, notice the footwork, and again, slow it down as often as you need to really get the subtleties of this late counter Charles Barkley hop to avoid the defender.